Hi, I'm Natalie Campbell, and I'm inviting you to vote for me to be your next Mayor of London. In this episode, we are talking about the final key idea in my manifesto, and that is well communities and better lives. Now, this idea encapsulates a lot. And I didn't want to have a separate pillar for transport and a separate pillar for climate and another one for arts and culture and another one for skills, because all of those things are really about us living well in London. They're really about us being connected. They're really about us being better. So it's one idea, because these are all things that are part of a system. So a key thing under well communities and better lives is transport. We need to get London moving, and I literally mean moving. From tubes to cars to bikes to scooters. London is a gridlock city, and we have people competing and butting heads over issues that have really been created artificially to pit cyclists against motorists, to pit pedestrians against those on e-scooters. There's enough space for everyone if we plan well. So one of the first things I will do is make all TfL roads that are 20 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour. Cars moving at 20 miles per hour or stalled produce more emissions. It makes no sense. If we were really thinking about safety, we would make it mandatory that anyone riding a cycle or a motorbike has to wear a helmet. And I've seen one too many cases of people on mopeds, e-scooters, e-bikes, and bikes without helmets. So we changed that on day one. It's mandatory. Let's create a level playing field and the same expectations for everyone on London's roads to keep everyone safe. And now this is something that is really close to my heart. I was hit by a car as a child. I'm not doing this because I'm pro-motorists. I'm doing it because it makes sense. And we can keep people safe and still make good sense in London. London as a gridlock city isn't good for anyone. It's not good for our health, but it's also not good for business. And if I move on to another community that really hasn't seen backing from the mayor, it's London's freelancers, it's London's small businesses, it's our independent hospitality, our independent creative community, it's our self-employed taxi drivers. From inaction around business rates to penalising taxi drivers that have delivered a world-class service, we have really set London back by not acknowledging the importance of entrepreneurs and those that get up every single day off their own back to make a living. And as mayor, given that I've been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember, I will make sure that I look after all of the small business owners, all of the freelancers, all of the self-employed people. London becomes a booming economy when all of those communities that I've just spoken about are doing well. I'm an entrepreneur. I get it. I started my first business at the age of 19, and by 21, I had a retail franchise whilst I was going into my final year of university. It takes determination, it takes grit, it takes resilience. And as mayor, I would do everything in my power to support you. So what does that support look like for you? Well, it depends on where you are, but a few examples. If you're a taxi driver, self-employed, building a business, I will make sure that you have a wider option of fleet. The fact that the only taxi you can buy is £100,000 and it has a short lifespan, which is also wasteful and something that a mayor should not be endorsing, it on day one creates a barrier to you doing the thing that you have spent years working on, working towards, and paying for. We have the best taxi service in the world, and we need to make it easier for you, for them to operate. For the entrepreneurs that dream of having the next big scale up, making sure that you can afford workspace, making sure that you know where to get investment from, making sure that you have the best talent that London can provide. These are the things that the mayor can absolutely do. And it's all part of thinking about well communities that deliver better lives. And if we talk about climate in this as well, ULEZ has been a massively divisive policy, set up in the name of reducing air pollution. And now I accept the data that it reduces air pollution in the centre of London, but we've yet to see compelling evidence that it does it in outer London. What I know is that it will be extremely expensive to remove all of the ULEZ infrastructure. So I can promise to review the costs for removing ULEZ in outer London so that teachers and nurses and carers and small business owners don't have to second guess whether or not they can afford to go to work or whether or not they can afford to visit a loved one. It absolutely will be under review. But what I can say in the meantime is that every single penny of revenue generated by the ULEZ scheme in London and outer London will go on climate resilience programmes across the capital. At the moment, we have no idea where this money goes. On a monthly basis, I will show you the revenue and what we're spending it on. So you will actually see more trees. We will clean London's waterways. We will clean London's underground river system and build resilience programmes to ensure that we stop the capital from flooding as the climate crisis inevitably worsens before it gets better. We can protect London from the devastating impact of wildfires by looking at early stage defence systems. This is the sort of thing that ULEZ revenue can fund. And maybe it's funding it at the moment. We just don't know. And that's one of the problems. As mayor, I will be very transparent and open and honest about where the revenue from any levy or tax is going. One of the unsung heroes of a well community is the creative arts. And I will be a mayor that absolutely champions the best of what we have to offer across the capital. We have some of the best creative businesses in the world. Our arts and culture has suffered significantly in the last decade. And I want to be a mayor that gives every single person in London constant reminders of the joy and the fun of art, and the joy and the fun of culture, and the joy and the fun of creativity. I think it's one of the best things that you can do as mayor to deliver better lives for everyone. So I will create a number of London laureates. These will be individuals that have demonstrated their commitment to the creative arts and want to give back. We will have installations in places that you don't expect and lots of places that you do. But these installations will be love stories to London, created by artists across a whole swathe of disciplines to tell the story of why they create, to tell the story of historic moments in London, to tell the story of a local community. And doing it in such a public, championed way, I hope inspires a whole generation of young people to consider other careers in the creative industries that aren't just in digital or technology, but goes back to the core of craft and goes back to things that we did with our hands, without technology. Because that's some of the joy of life. Getting your hands dirty, getting into things. Now, it's a slight digression, but I hope it gives you a sense of the difference that I would bring to being the Mayor of London. And there are lots of things that I haven't discussed in this series. These are just snippets of what's in the manifesto. So if you like what you've heard, go to the website teamcampbell.london to look at everything else that I offer you and London as your next Mayor of London. And stay tuned for the final episode where I share what winning means and how we get there. In the final episode, I'll be sharing with you all of the behind the scenes snippets, insider's notes on what it takes to run as an independent candidate for Mayor of London. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's definitely for anyone that decides that they want to wake up every single day and know that they are making a difference. And that's what I want to do for you.